Hello and welcome. I'm Kelly, and today I'm going to be doing a reading, and I'm going to be doing an overall message for Twin Flames. And I just thought this would be a really fun way to just communicate, see what the week is going to hold for us and what's most important. So I'm the first couple of cards. So I want to say all of these cards came out in twos. So I thought that was really interesting. Even when I tried to take one, I had several that were stuck together. So all of these decks I'm using today are in twos. So this one is from the Rumi deck, the Rumi Oracle by Alana Fairchild. So I chose this one, the Celestial Rose of Ma. So I wasn't exactly sure what this one, this is a new deck for me, but I'm going to read this directly from the book. I just love what it shared here. So Celestial Rose of Ma is about the taste of bitterness becomes sweetness in love. The searching in the dark finds the light of faith revealed in love. Love transforms thistles into jasmine. Love layers heaven and gifts us with wings to soar into its mystery. Love transforms our every thought into a desire of the heart. O love, how divine is your luring. Your luring. Beauty flows from your unseen face. Your very nature is radiant with joy. You manifest vibrant hues in every flower. Your touch dazzles all creation. Every particle is attached toward you, longing to unite and dwell in you. Oh, I love that. So really all the magic and mystery lies within you. This is such a beautiful message. It talks about the bitterness, right? The bitterness becomes sweetness. And, I think of the bitterness is something that I'm healing too, is really letting go of codependency and realizing that everything that we need to create the life that we love is actually within us. Because what happens is when we create our life by recognizing what God is showing us, we're able to heal through the challenges. We're able to recognize, the messages, realizing that they're only messages, and we don't have to internalize the messages and keep them. We just recognize, oh, this is what the universe is telling. This is what God is showing me that I'm choosing. I didn't know I was choosing that. I'm innocent and divine like a child. Well, let's see if I can make a new choice. And what is that? What's underneath the choice that I didn't know I could have the real thing, right? Okay. So the next card, and these two are the overarching of the card reading today. So just remembering that your twin flame is always going to be there to help you heal and help you become your divine self. They are there to love you, but their purpose is to bring you closer to God, to source, closer to yourself. That's what their purpose is. And so when you recognize that that's their purpose, it'll help you have a deeper compassion for yourself on your journey. And with that being said, you already have this sacred convergence. This is the 11 card. This is the twin flame cards. Notice in the image, the outside and the inside are one. You are already in union with your twin flame. That is the truth. And in fact, as you heal, you'll just be unveiling the truth of that as you get closer and closer to your divine counterpart, as you heal your heart, as you heal the feelings that feel bad, right? The upsets that are in between the true love that you share. And so that's the big mystery. That's what this card was talking about the love. It's a mystery, it's a puzzle. And until you are really willing to look at yourself in the mirror and discover your relationship with yourself, it'll be difficult to truly love anyone else until you can truly look in the mirror, look at how you're honoring and loving yourself. That's when true love can actually be unveiled and be possible, so that you know what your boundaries are, and you really know how to support yourself, so that when people might show you otherwise, you can say, oh, no, okay, I'm going to go into this place in my heart that feels sad and upset, and I'm going to be there for myself. Presence and compassion and remembering your innocence is, releasing abandonment. Okay? All right, so that we'll just leave those cards there. How beautiful. Okay, so this deck is from the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I love this deck. So actually, we'll do this one. Okay, so boundaries. Yes, boundaries. So this is so important. Anytime you are needing more space for yourself, or maybe more space to rest and relax, I think oftentimes it's so easy to just push, go. That's what they say, at least in America, is that, oh, if you just keep working hard, you keep hustling, eventually you'll get there. Eventually you'll, have the life that you desire. But the truth is that just creates burnout. And then by the time you retire, you're too tired and too burnt out to actually enjoy what you've built. So it's about learning to set boundaries so that you can really, truly create balance. This is a real challenge for me to work through. I'm working through kind of a work addiction myself, and it's where I have a tendency to put my work and my financial life ahead of God, ahead of putting God first. But what I discovered in my last coaching session is really, when I'm doing that, I'm actually numbing out to my feelings. When I'm worrying about my finances, I'm actually numbing out to myself and my own feelings. So anytime, if you're worried about something, that's what they say about, giving it to God, is saying, okay, I entrust God to take care of this challenge for me, because my finances are supported by the divine, by God, right? And if I choose to give it to God, then I'm allowing that trust and I'm building that relationship with God. And so it's essential. And over the holiday, I went to visit my mom, and I was actually guided to rest a lot, like more than I've ever been able to rest. I had about 2 weeks home, and I took that time to rest, and I was actually really able to enjoy it and not feel guilty and not feel like, oh, I've got to do this. I had a couple things I wanted to work on and wanted to do. But for the most part, I took a good 2 weeks off, and all throughout that process, like, my ads are off for my business, and I just kept getting clients coming in, and all of them over the holiday, I was able to book every single one to come in for trial classes. Most of them are signing up for my programs, and it's just really powerful. So, even having boundaries with work. Now, don't get me wrong, you want to work hard, you want to, but you can allow things to flow, allow things to be easy, and then really putting God first is trusting that you are supported. So, and my tendency is to overwork. That doesn't mean, if you're out of work to not be, searching for work. But it's really knowing yourself and knowing what your specific challenges are, which will come out when you're working with someone in a coaching setting. So I think that's enough said about that. So, okay, boundaries, and then this one is realization. So the realizations happen for me specifically when I'm working specifically with my coach. Like, I was able to uncover this pattern of noticing that when I worry about money, I'm actually tuning out my feelings, and I'm giving power to powerlessness, if that makes sense. Instead of feeling my feelings and feeling good and feeling, just feeling and being present with myself. So the realizations really happen as you're working with someone, because they're going to be able to see, and guide you into those places of realization. And I can't say that enough. And I think sometimes our interdependence, or our independence rather, our independence can also be a little bit of, can be arrogant, right? Because, why would we have 8 billion people on the earth and then have to do everything by ourselves? That doesn't make any sense at all. I think we are creating a beautiful paradise on earth where we all are independent on one another. Somebody grows my food and I get to go shopping and choose the best of the best. Like, how incredibly lucky is that? I don't have to try and figure out how to grow tomatoes. They just, like, I can choose which ones I want to purchase, right? Whereas it took me like a couple of years to figure out a plant that I would not kill. I can't imagine growing. I'm sure I could figure it out, but that's not the point, right? We're able to co-create life together. And okay, all right. So this one is the high. Oh, I got this one last week too. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service. So this one's really important because you want to be filling your cup, right? Doing your rest, setting your boundaries so that you're not leaking your energy to people who who might just take it, right? And then that way, right, you can be an incredibly selfless, leader, and be of service in such an incredible way. And being in service is about being and fully embodying, God's divinity and sharing your heart with others. To me, that's what gratitude and service is like. Oh, this is my gift. I get to give it. Not like I have to give this service, but I really get to give it. And it's such an incredible honor. And so that's what, I think of gratitude and service, and that's staying humble and being a learner and learning how to be a selfless leader, right? But the selflessness comes from filling your cup by meditating, by having a support system around you, so you're not giving from an empty cup, right? So you can only have full gratitude for God when you're loving yourself, when you're honoring yourself, and then you can share your gift and your services from an absolute place of joy, right? Of grounded joy and sharing what you're, designed to give to others. Okay, this one, the High Lady of Love and Compassion. Oh, I love this card. So I think of this as, when I'm really in my highest alignment, it doesn't matter if I'm doing maybe a side job that, like, I'll just share, for instance, this past year, through my healing journey, I had a lot of suppressed emotion surface. And right about this time last year, my back completely locked up. And it's taken almost an entire year of healing work and working with different body workers and practitioners to help me unlock not just the physical components that were locked in my nervous system, but the emotions that I had suppressed and trapped. And so as I've been able to release those, I've been able to raise my vibration to this beautiful place of love and have compassion, so that even when I've had to work an extra side job outside of my school. I run a dance school, and I've had to drive Uber on the side to keep things going, because I was in so much pain that I couldn't problem solve the way that I normally would have. But by the end of the year, I was actually able to really love people through driving them, having conversations, and like, I'm certainly not getting paid anything extra for that. Sometimes I am, sometimes not. But it's not about that, right? It's not about my commission. It's about really loving people from a genuine heart-to-heart place, and helping them along their journey. And such a beautiful thing to be able to talk to people and be able to help them through. And maybe they're just starting their ascension journey and just kind of noticing patterns in their friends as they're starting to vibe out of those friendships, that sort of thing. And then just teaching them how to have compassion for themselves, because self-love, like compassion, is the ultimate, in my opinion, self-love, because we're all innocent, we're all trying, we're all doing our best, even if you see people who are deep in their coping mechanisms. Something I share with my daughter is that people are not, there's no bad people, nobody's bad. We just may have different layers of coping mechanisms and ways that people shield themselves and hide themselves away, and in the process they might end up making choices that really hurt and affect others. But underneath all of that ego is just a little girl or a little boy who's really sad and really upset and doesn't know how to heal. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. I finally was brave enough to see The Sound of Freedom, and it just made me want to just like save the world and save all these children. But the truth is that my part is teaching people to love themselves. And I truly believe that as each of us heal, right, we pass on that healing, that energetic vibration to the people around us. And then that vibration works with the people around them. And it just is this beautiful ripple effect that cannot be stopped. And, I know people talk about the dark times, but I really believe that it is these beautiful light times that open up the magic and mystery that is God, that is love. And so I just know that just by doing your shadow work, doing your inner healing, you're able to learn how to set boundaries in a very loving way. Like I just recently was working through some healing the last 3 years, and I had to set some really hard boundaries with a family member. And he recently shared with me, "Thank you for hanging up on me." I was like, "What? You're thanking me for hanging up on you?" Because it made him kind of go into himself. It made him self-reflect. And I don't know, it was about 6 months later, he started calling me and sharing his heart with me and how much he cared and loved me. And we were slowly able to rebuild our friendship. And so that's how we heal. And I truly believe that even the sex trafficking that's happening, we get to heal our hearts. We get to heal, and as we do, others will be freed. As they see us living in light, living in love, and people realize, oh, well, if they let go of their addiction, maybe I can too. And we just all transcend and heal together. So yeah, it's beautiful. Part of, and remember, God is there too, helping all of us heal. This same family member, someone, gave him like $10,000 to quit smoking. And so this family member quit smoking, and because they quit smoking, he was able to really unlock some of the places that were really numb, and has been able to heal even further. So remember, God is in control. I couldn't have predicted that could have happened, and that this person in my family would have quit smoking and had some of the breakthroughs that he's had. And so just remember that God is in control, and God is going to just help everything unlock and unfold perfectly. We just have to do our part. That's all you have to do, is do your part in your healing. Okay, so I'm laughing. This is awesome. So this is the participation card. So yeah, this is just about you participating in your own healing. And I think, one of our upsets in my family dynamic is that, that there are starving children in the world, and that there's so much in the world that is disagreeable and hurtful, and right? And we just, if we sat and thought about it, we'd be so overwhelmed, we wouldn't know where to start. But the truth is that it starts with us. When we heal, it affects everything around us. So your participation really, really matters. And something that I've been healing too is really looking at where I feel guilty for shining my light, where I feel guilty for creating a life that I absolutely adore. And there's no, there's no substitute for participating in your own healing. And because even on the airlines, right, internationally, everybody, they always say, put your air mask on first, so then help your child. And that they're talking to parents, but ultimately you have to parent yourself, especially if you didn't have strong leaders and parents in your life. You have to be that leader in your own life. And then that gives rise for even our parents. That gives rise for our children and their children. And we change the trauma gap. We make that change by participating in healing the relationship with ourselves and in our family dynamics. Completion. This just came up today too, is that sometimes I love that this is a puzzle. Life is such a beautiful mystery, such a beautiful puzzle. And how often do we start a puzzle and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. I don't know if I can finish it. And then we leave it. Like, I still have this beautiful wooden puzzle that's like underneath my couch, with it's partially done, that I haven't unlocked yet. But these puzzles are so important to choose. Number one, when you're manifesting, when you're creating, right? Because we are a creator, created in love. When you make a decision, right, all you have to do is stay with that decision and see it all the way through to completion. So if you make a choice, but then maybe you have a doubt pattern that comes up regularly, like this was coming up in my finances, like it's not about the finances. Underneath all of those layers, I uncovered in my coaching session that it wasn't about the finances. I was actually I'm healing a little bit of like abuse in my family, emotional stuff mostly, but it was like I was afraid that if I spoke my mind, if I spoke my truth, that and I claimed what I wanted, that I would be abused and punished. And that is the belief underneath not feeling supported in my life purpose. And they don't, at first they don't seem interrelated, but it's about going and healing so that you can see these patterns, not for what they are, the surface value, but going underneath the layers of that and uncovering that. And I only uncovered that. My coach, and I encourage you to do this, my coach encouraged me to write out all of my desires, every single one of my desires, and to keep adding to that list. But I couldn't do the exercise. I was fresh out of my coaching session, so I wanted to do it right then. And I had all of these feelings, these really deep feelings coming up to the surface that I had to address before I could even start writing, because I had this overwhelming feeling of guilt and upset around just claiming what I wanted in my life. And so sometimes, seeing things through to its completion, I would say often, is actually going to require you to face the emotional block that you're seeing. So I see this a lot in my dance school. So like someone might not be able to they might not be able to understand something physically, then they have an emotional upset about it, and then they'll quit, or they'll want to quit, and sometimes they work through it and keep going, and sometimes that emotional block prevents them from completing what they initially chose. And while it's okay to choose a new dream, you want to make sure that you're choosing a dream out of love, not out of doubt or fear or incompletion. You want to see things through all the way to their completion. Like for instance, I thought that I might be autistic, and so I wasn't really sure, but I was showing a lot of signs of being autistic. But instead of just assuming that I was autistic, I went and got tested, and I'm not autistic. But sometimes trauma can show up as autism. But I just really wanted to get clear, because if I am autistic, then there are probably some different ways that I would navigate my life, because my brain would be working in a different way. And so it's really important to see things through to the completion. And so I just, healing that piece and going all the way through to getting that testing was a really positive thing, because I was able to get clear, so that was actually a result of, me actually still being in fight or flight, still being in a traumatized state. And helped me get clear so I could continue to heal through a lot of emotions. So seeing things through their completion is really about making a choice and seeing it all the way through. And that's what the twin flame journey is all about. Like, you certainly can choose someone different, or something different. But when you choose your twin flame, what's beautiful is you're building a foundation with God that you get to master. You don't have to master it, but you get to master it. You get to allow yourself to, to really build your sense of self, your identity based on how God sees you, and not how you maybe want to be seen, right? But to really see yourself the way God sees you. And I love this card, how it's like right on that third eye. It's so cool. So I encourage you, I implore you to see your healing through to its completion, because the time is now, right? Everything that you do now will set you up for success later. Every setback that you have is an arrow pulling you back so that you can soar and fly into the life of your dreams. It's like, through my dance journey, I've had a lot of injuries, some more traumatic than others, but those injuries always set me up for success. They always helped me build a stronger foundation, and I've become a better dancer for it. And I could have quit 1,000 times over, but instead I learned to eat better. I learned to fuel myself better. I learned what supplements I need to keep my body in optimal shape so I'm not tearing and muscles and things like that. So it all made me sharper. And so just remember, when you set yourself up for success, it's really learning how to support yourself in a way that's going to get you to the completion of your dream. And it's just so critical. And in seeing things to their completion too, it's important to look at your patterns. Like, do you have a pattern of seeing things through and then falling short and then running away and then picking it back up later and then getting to it a little further and then putting it aside and then running back to it? Do you have a pattern like that? Because if you do, that have compassion, but it's just that you hit an emotional wall and you didn't recognize it. So it's about noticing when you hit a wall emotionally. It's like, do you have the tools available to move through? Like, sometimes people will have their twin flame union and they might hit a block, and maybe they have this beautiful experience together, but then they hit a wall and they have to heal apart for a while. Well, if you had the tools to move through those blocks and upsets, you would continue to be able to do it together in union. But if you don't have the tools, you've got to build your foundation and have the tools to do so. And everybody's union is going to come together in perfect divine order, right? Maybe not necessarily divine timing, because if you just sit around and wait, you'll be waiting forever. But it is in divine order as you heal layer by layer by layer by layer. And then as you heal, building, it's like you're, Jeff and Shalia talk about this, is like you're building a castle. Like, we're building a castle. Twin flame union is a castle. And so it's not going to be built overnight. It's going to, you're not just building a house, right? Like maybe a soulmate relationship might be a house, and you could have a nice house, but if you really want the castle, right, then you've got to build it with something, really solid. So, all right, well, that feels beautifully complete for me. I hope this was a really helpful message for you. And yeah, thanks for listening. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful week. And yeah, tune in next time. I'm going to be working on getting some more YouTube shorts and different things up. So hopefully you'll tune in. If this was helpful for you, like, subscribe, share any insights, any wisdom. Because remember, like when you when you process things by writing them out, even by texting. Sometimes when I'll text my coach, I'll even get breakthroughs as she responds to me or as I'm writing things out. I'm like, it really helps the breakthrough. So feel free to write in the comments anything that resonated for you, anything that you're experiencing now. Yeah, or if you have something you want to work on, privately, I do weekly workshops, and I urge you, get help. The sooner you get help, the easier your journey is going to be. So I remember what it was like for when I first got on the journey. It was really, really tough. I was really confused. I didn't understand. And, I definitely can help you heal some of the things that might feel confusing. I'd love to be a resource for you. So, all right, with that, namaste. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. We'll see you next time.